So Tanya and I are building this pole barn that we see right here. We just put in the electric over here for our future home and for this pole barn. And we are building a sawmill cover for the top of our sawmill. So we have been using the foam, and the first foam we used was FAST2K. And we put this on, the first foam we used was the electric system where we put the posts in the ground. And we used the FAST2K and it worked outstanding, super stable. And our pole barn here, which we are not complete, obviously, but we use FAST2K on it, and it is rock solid, just absolutely rock solid. So I want to tell you the backstory. We first put down the electric post for our electric system, and we had really good luck out of it. And I decided the next thing we did was the sawmill post, or the post for the sawmill building. And we went back to Lowe's, and they were out of stock of the FAST2K. And there was another brand called Sika. And we bought it thinking that it's just same, you know, just a different brand, Coke or Pepsi. But this is what we had happen. This is the Sika product. We followed the directions with Sika pretty much to the letter. So when we first put the foam in, it expanded really fast, and it expanded really tight. We thought, this is great. It's just like FAST2K. And then after it cools off, it seems to constrict back. And that's where the problem comes in. So this is a second post, and I want to qualify this by saying this area has not been disturbed, and this is clay. This is a clay, very heavy clay soil, which should be like the best for this type of product. So we've showed you the first post, second post. I would give this post a little leniency had we, you know, not already experienced the bad at the other, but it's the same way on every post. So we already started working on this and put a big beam across the top of it, of this post. This is a 6x6, and we really didn't pay any attention to it till where we started setting the post on it. And this post, and I'm being very, I don't want to go too crazy with this because there's a 300-pound beam over my head, but it's literally moving back and forth in the hole a good half inch. So these are the experiences we had with the product. FAST2K, we had basically, it performed flawlessly. Sika, it failed in each instance we used it. But to be fair, today we're going to test it in 2 applications, each product in 2 applications, and we're going to do it side by side just to make sure there was not some fluke like a temperature variation, or maybe it was too wet one day or not. So this is the fairest we can be. Again, I just want to point this out. We are not paid to do this. I just thought it would be something fun to do, and also to kind of warn people off. Maybe I did it wrong. So you guys stay with us to the end of the video to see if the Sika holds up and see if the FAST2K does as good as it did the first time. Neither one of these products have been on the market a really long time, and they're not widely accepted. And partially I think that is due to some of the negative exposure they've got on social media. I think we're going to sort that out today. So we're going to do 2 tests. We're going to do a bucket test, and then we're also going to take the tractor with a post hole digger and dig holes in 2 separate locations that are really close together, so the soil type is similar. And we're going to put these 2 posts in the ground, and then come back a couple of days later and see if this big tractor behind me can pull those posts out. The loader will lift about 3,000 pounds breakout force. I think I'm a little bit biased because of my prior results, but I think one post is going to stay and one post is not. So let's show you what's inside the product bag. We got, with the Sika brand, it's just got a little bag. Instructions are on the front, and that's all that's here. Different package. It's got a different kind of seal here, and it also comes with plastic gloves. So I've read the directions thoroughly, and basically the simple version of it is you're going to roll one end of this foam up, and it's going to break a seal in the middle by pressure, and then you're going to mix both ends together using the shoe shine method, going back and forth for 15 seconds. I will tell you a secret up front that I've already learned is this bag does not have a perforation for you to tear, so you better have a pair of scissors with you or a knife or some way to cut this, otherwise it's going to make a big mess. And I'm going to roll this end up. This is a nice cool day, so this is probably one of the best times to do this. There it went. We'll do the shoe shine method, making sure that the product seems to be getting a little bit warm. All right, so that's 15 seconds for sure. Get that out of the way. And all I'm going to do is pour this in the bag. So this is FAST2K, and the bags are a little bit different. Same principle, it's got a seal in the middle, but how you do this is you just pop it. And then you're going to do the shoe shine method, making sure that all of the chemical from this side meets the chemical in that side, and then go back and forth over something like a shoe shine. It tells you up front there's a little bit difference in the chemical makeup, because this one takes 30 seconds to mix where that one took 15. So we know already that there's something different about these two products. So I'm going to go closer to the tractor. I got my post here ready to go in. So I'm making sure that all the chemical from one side goes over and mixes with the other. All right, so this is the difference. A big difference here is FAST2K has the preparation already. So I'm going to take my post, set it in, go ahead and now in the real world you would coat this all around the post, but in here we're just going to pour it in the bucket and see what happens. Do not get it on your shoes. It will not come off, ever. Definitely a different color. It's a different feel when you pour it as well. So this expands at a much slower rate. It says 3 to 5 minutes. And also there is another thing to think about too in both products. If it's really hot outside, you've got to make sure that your product stays cooler until you are ready to use it. You don't want to reach down and grab a bag of either product when the bag is 95 degrees. You can see that the FAST2K foam is considerably more dense. The little pores or the little bubbles inside are considerably smaller than the Sika. Sika brand's kind of looks like the spray foam you spray in a wall. So the products in theory have a big advantage over concrete in the fact that you can start working off of whatever you put in the ground 30 minutes later, and approximately 24 hours later it is 100% cured, but within 30 minutes it's over 90% cured. So each one of these bags of product are supposed to be the equivalent of 50 pounds of concrete. There already is an obvious difference between the two products. The Sika expanded really fast, and it has little pores or little the bubbles, or you can see the bubbles in it. It doesn't look as dense. The FAST2K was a much slower rising product, not really quick in construction terms, but still it rose much slower, and the foam looks much denser. All right, we ended up digging 3 holes. I dug this hole first, and it turned out really smooth and neat. I dug this hole, and it hung on me, and when I pulled the tractor up, it ripped a big portion of soil out, so I didn't think that'd be a fair test. So I went back over here and dug another hole. These two holes are basically perfectly similar. I think this is going to be a fair test. I scraped away the dirt before I pull the post hole digger out so that excess dirt wouldn't fall back in the hole. I think that is another way we can be fair. All right, we have got both posts in the ground. They're level, it's the same depth hole. I think we're ready to start. Knife ready. Now, it also says to try to coat the post. All right, I realize that post is not, well, it's pretty square. It's pretty level, but it's not about being level, it's about being strong. All right, so we'll go ahead and start mixing this back and forth. I'm gonna use this grapple to make sure both sides of the packet chemicals are mixed. This is FAST2K. So with the FAST2K, it says before you pour your next bag in that you need to wait at least 5 minutes, because before it hardens, it actually is kind of like a marshmallow. And if you pour the other one into another bag in too quickly, it will literally smush one chemical reaction will smush the other one. So you let the first one cure 3 to 5 minutes, then you put the next one in. All right, I'm always going to have a naysayer. In every video I ever do, there's at least one naysayer. I know someone's going to say, well, this post is deeper in the ground than this post. They're exactly the same depth in the ground. This ground is just higher over here than it is over here. But each post is the same depth in the ground within just minuscule. So I'm just trying to be fair. I want this test to be as fair as we can be. We poured 3 bags of product in each hole. I find that the Sika is not very consistent. And what I mean by that, we poured a bag in, it come up around the post reasonably consistent. And then we poured this one. And there was approximately 15, maybe 20 minutes in between the pours. And we poured another bag into this, of Sika in this hole. And instead of coming up consistently around the post, it kind of just shot off in one direction on one side. So then, again, 20 minutes, we come over here, poured into the FAST2K hole, and in both pours were very consistent, wrapping the post very good. And then the third one, you can see here, it got to the top and mushroomed out. The FAST2K, again, is very consistent on all 3 bags as far as wrapping the post and pushing out. Both posts are in the ground, they're curing. Both posts are in the bucket, they're curing. We'll be back in 48 hours. And for you guys, it's gonna be just this. Hey, welcome back. We are at the second part of our test. We've got the 2 buckets here, and then we've got the post. So what we're gonna do today, let me just outline what we're gonna do. We're going to check the density of this foam, and then we're also gonna take the tractor and see how hard it is to pull each post out. So these buckets should come off because they're made for product or things to not stick to them, and that came right off. You can see this foam it has very few voids, but one thing I noticed, it's very hard. One thing I noticed, that this is I didn't even point this out. This didn't shrink. I had to literally pull it out of the bucket. This particular one is loose in the bucket. So right here you can see that there's a space in the bucket. The FAST2K, there was no space. It was firmly in the ground. So this one I don't have to do anything but just pull it out. So this is FAST2K over here, and this is Sika over here. The first thing I noticed pulling them out of the bucket is that the FAST2K did not shrink, and the Sika brand shrunk down. The FAST2K, I'm going to push as hard as I can with my thumb. My thumb turned red and it didn't even make a dent. And the Sika is, you can see I make a dent. Oh, I can also knuckle it and break it. All right, so just to be fair, that's okay. Don't do that. That hurts. So FAST2K is pretty dense. It's a very dense foam, and you can see that both of them are roughly the same liquid. They're volume of liquid, and one almost doubles the expansion. And too much expansion is not good apparently, because this, like I said, this shrunk. All right, so that's enough playing. We want to get to the main event, and we want to yank these posts off the ground. That's the real test. This is about post. Let's see here. This is the FAST2K. I'm putting my foot up. There's no way I can cheat on this. That's solid. Okay, do this test. Now, I've not touched these since we've done this, and that moved right off the bat considerably. So it shrank in the hole as well, so that's not good. This, yeah, there's actually a slackness in that, and I don't know if we're gonna get this post out. All right, so enough talk, let's test. This tractor will pick up around 3,000 pounds from the ground height up, and then it'll pick up like 2,300 pounds all the way to full height. So over a ton in the air, we're gonna have a ton's worth of pressure pulling up. All right, what I've done is I've wrapped the chain around the post 2 consecutive times, and then made a harness where we're gonna lift with both arms of the tractor, getting the full force of the tractor. This is about as fair as I know to be. So let's see how hard it is. This may have not been the best place. This is our future front yard. This may have not been the best place to put this post for the test. It didn't even try to come out. This could be a new bird feeder post. And so we're gonna pull this chain off. I noticed that when I trying to take the chain off, it buried the chain into the wood. It literally gouged the wood and tore pieces of the wood off. That's how much pressure that was on that chain. All right, let's try the next one. All right, just to be fair, I want everybody to know. So I pulled up on this. I give the tractor full force up at idle, and I did that one time. Then I gave it full throttle, and then I pulled back on the joystick 3 times. So that's 4 pulls straight up, full force. And the only thing it did, if I kept doing it, it's just gonna rip the post off. It wasn't gonna, the chain was gonna cut the post in half. So we're gonna go over here, and hopefully that one will come up. I mean, I don't want to say nothing bad about the product, but I don't want 2 bird feeders right beside each other. So 2 full wraps around. I didn't even need to put it full throttle. I don't think we need to say anything else. Wow, that was self-explanatory. It literally was ripping the post in half on this side, and it pulled this completely out of the ground with, I didn't even have the outlet up. The tractor never made a sound change, as far as, it just wasn't hard. Sika is no match for FAST2K. Waste of money.